Let go of everything.
All right. So I want to be honest with you guys. Like the past, honest and transparent, be as open as I can. Past like 2 weeks, and it kind of started tapering on a little bit, like last month. But I've been dealing with some, a little bit of anxiety, borderline depression, I guess. Some anhedonia. If you don't know what that is, it's like a lack of joy or fulfillment from things that normally would bring you joy, and some overwhelming stress and all that. So really, it's just like I just felt like I haven't been myself. It's really just been a bunch of different things combining up into one. Which normally, when you have things like what I've been feeling, it's usually a bunch of different things that all a bunch of more negative processes that kind of build up, and they all work together to make you feel really bad at one day, especially if you don't really you're not really I don't know, someone who's I know my last video was talking about introspection, but I just have not been introspective enough really to focus on what has been going on in the background of my mind, because I've been trying to just go through the process of social media and going to the gym. Like I said, it's a bunch of different things that meld up into one. I could just make all the excuses. It was towards the end of the bulk, the last 100 days of the bulk was just a complete struggle. It was so much effort to try and get, bigger, but nothing was happening. Because I wanted to, technically, if I was still doing the bulk like how I had planned, I would still be bulking right now, and it wouldn't be over for another week and a half. So, but I'm on day 20 of the cut today. So yeah, it'd still be 20 more days of the bulk going on right now, and I kept going. So it's a mix of that. My previous workout split, its schedule was kind of just making it to where I didn't really have any days off from anything. I was always doing something, which is, that can be overwhelming, stressful. Even if it's something you enjoy, something that you enjoy doing too much of can be stressed. It's if you're if you're a recreational drug user, if you do too much, it's gonna it's gonna get to you, it's gonna catch up to you. And so that's why you need vacations, or just days where you don't have any obligations. You kind of just completely stress-free, workload-free day. So I'm gonna start adding that into my routine now. So my workout split is different. It's a lot different now. If you guys knew, I had a 9-day workout split. So it was but it was only 6 actual workouts in the 9-day split. But now I'm going down to a new thing. It's going to be upper lower. Just doing upper lower Monday, Tuesday, and then break Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday, and then break Saturday, break Sunday. But Saturday, since I am cutting, when I cut, I usually like to switch over to run focus goals. So I like to do more running, because before I became a lifter, I was a runner. I was track guy, family 5K guy, and stuff like that, and I did triathlons too. So I've had an athletic background, but I do enjoy running, because if you go for long enough runs, you can really get into a flow state, and it kind of silences everything, which is really nice. So I'm focusing more on running now, and Saturday is going to be a long run. But yeah, so I was basically experiencing burnout. Goals weren't happening, and then since I was constantly going and experienced burnout is also can be associated with super low dopamine, so you don't really feel the drive. That could be where the anhedonia comes from, and the depression, depressive symptoms. Like I said, it's a bunch of different things that roll up into one. But now, I should have said this at first, but I'm not really looking for any sympathy. But if anybody else has really experienced this, and maybe if you've gotten to the point to where you don't really have crazy it was really bad this past weekend, all of it together. I've had multiple breakdowns, but if you've gone through this and you like basically figured out how to like minimize it as much as possible, because I didn't used to always have fucking I mean, I would have breakdowns, but it was never like it felt like everything was like building up into one. It's also a lot of pressure, because I put a lot of pressure on this fitness career because I just do not want to work a 9 to 5, so I don't even have like a fallback thing basically. So it's just extra pressure built up into one. So, but if you have had things like this and have somewhat solved it, because I want to get back to that, to where I don't really have like everything stack up as one. Like, I know I've had breakdowns before from stress from, you know, school and all that, but I didn't feel like the world was going to fall apart from having that. But now it feels like if I have a breakdown, like, well, the world's falling apart. Oop, actually, I'm going to park there. So if you have had things like this and got to a point to where it doesn't happen anymore, leave some tips down below for other people. Because I want my channel to be more like an open place where we can, like, you know, because most guys, you know, obviously, if you're a guy and you're a man, you know that most of the time people don't ask you how you are, and if they do, it's because they're just a cashier at a store, and it's kind of like, you know, a repetitive habit for them. So I want this place to be a thing. I think Alex Eubanks has one of these. He has like a Discord. He has talks with people, you know, stuff like that. So I want to make this channel sort of like that too. So, but we got upper body today. The split hasn't started yet. I did a new split this week where I did 5-day workout week, and then next week is going to start the 4-day workout week. And I think it's also a deload week. So, but we do have an upper body workout today. Should be pretty interesting. I've changed how I work out a bit. It's no longer like intense. Every single set is going to absolute failure and then partial reps, because that's just it's just burnout, dude. That's how you burn out way too easily. So I have kind of been doing like the first 2 work exercises, like main like compound movements, have been going to failure, and then everything else after that is kind of like 1 to 2 reps before absolute failure. It allows me to recover better. And it still is going like basically all out, because the amount of gains you're going to get from those last 2 like partials of like compared to your fatigue, it's just not really worth it. You might as well just leave a couple reps in reserve. But it's not like a couple of like clean reps. If you can do clean reps, just clean rep, max out, and then if you're having to start getting to like use other muscles, if you're starting to use like shoulder for chest or whatever and shit like that, that's when you're like, all right, now we're done. So let's get on in there. Whew, first set. I did this last time, but once I get my schedule back around to where I need to be, then we can start doing the different workouts that I need to. But it's a little hard because I don't want to burn out. I can be too exhausted from doing a whole upper body, but I want to hit every body part, so I get everything twice per week. So now maybe it's not going to be as many rear delt flies for this, but I'm just going to do this for a couple weeks to see how it feels. Since I'm going to be focusing on running a little bit more right now, but just going to maintain everything while I'm cutting. Then maybe we get to a point where I want to go back to like 5-day schedule, so I do like so what I was doing this past, like this technically it's still this week, I was doing an Arnold split, so it'd be legs, chest and back, shoulders, arms, and then I do upper lower for Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday. So I might go back to that. That's kind of what I want to do. Sounds like a good routine for me, but since I'm focusing on running right now, just gonna do upper lower. Also, I haven't been having any caffeine for like the past week and a half, 2 weeks. So there's also that. I don't feel like I can go as intensely without caffeine, but I'm trying to like. Also, I've been trying to lower my stress the past week and a half. Trying to lower my stress and just get like natural energy, because stress and cortisol hinders your gains. And caffeine increases cortisol. So I'm trying to do a lot more things cleanly this past week and a half. Maybe eventually I can get to a point where I can start having, you know, more caffeine and shit again. Also, like, you know, trying to go from the goals that I'm going for, you know, being a social media and everything, you know, it can be a little stressful because you're also still having to work and everything. But maybe if I can start making money from that, maybe the stress will go away. Or I'll have a lot less of it. You see, I was able to do clean reps, and once I was like kind of had to start throwing it around. I'm good to go. I'm done. At 12 clean ones. I'll take that. Whew. But like I said, financially, it's definitely a big stress for me because I want to be, financially independent. So, gotta keep going and get sponsored. That'd be sick as fuck. Maybe YouTube starts making money. But I know once I get to be a lot more shredded. No. So if you're new content creator, which you might have been doing it for a couple of years, but I'm kind of been banking on a crazy physique. So like Joseph Shin and all those guys, they can make some entertaining content, but they really rely on their physiques heavily. Like they're not comedy based or anything like that. But so unless you're like really funny, it's a lot easier to get monetized and sponsored and everything when you got a crazy physique. So once I get shredded, maybe we'll start getting some offers. Midwest and probably a lot of like the whole Midwest around there, Central Plains, supposed to get some crazy weather. Like it's going to be 70 today. Okay, 70 today, 60 tomorrow morning, but then by tomorrow night it'll be 30, like 20 to 30 and snowing and super windy. And then it'll be 15 degrees on Monday. So it's 70 today, be like 15 degrees on Monday, like 14 degrees on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, it'll be like 80. Yeah. So it's that fucking weather modifications they're doing, bro. It's the weather modifications the government's doing. Now it gets to a point where I might have to start taking peptides, bro, just so I can fucking keep the fucking gains going crazy. Also, that is the thing I do notice. Like whenever my gains are super slow for an extended period of time, I get a little bit more anxious. But when you're in something so deep, it's kind of hard to like see it from a third person perspective. Because like if I were to see somebody else, like let's say if I was working on a project for like a business or just in school, it's like whenever if your project is going slow and like the deadline is coming up, you're obviously gonna be more anxious. But like when I'm in it and I get anxious and I just like start panicking, it's like I'm panicking over the panic. It's like, bro, what am I panicking for? So then when you're so deep into something, it's kind of like hard to see like what you're actually doing because you're like become like almost numb to the experience of like what you're doing, what you're working on. You almost become numb to it. The reason I like bar rows is because the angle I get it at gets like a bunch of upper trap, like rear delt, mid trap, mid back. So you get a whole array of things with it. So especially for upper body or full upper body, when you don't get like if it's like just a back day, you get to target every different muscle with a bunch of different exercises. But when it's on a upper body day, where only each body part gets like one, maybe two exercises, you got to make sure you target as many of the muscles as possible. So pick an exercise that does that. And barbell row for me does that. Because I'm not like way down here doing it like for lats. I'm more like up here trying to like pull like up, get trap rear delt and everything. So I'm not gonna be doing a rear delt focused exercise because I got a chest exercise, I got a shoulder exercise, I got two arm exercises I gotta do. So you gotta make sure you find an exercise that targets as many muscles as possible. All right, wrist wraps are on. 100-pound dumbbells are good to go. Now I was doing the 120s at the end of the bulk, but I am not there, especially without pre and without fucking surplus. 120s are non-go right now. And the left pec just feels like a lot more like complete. Like this, you can like see like the full top part. Over here, it's kind of just like blends, like it's not like a solid like bone like this. Get some more striations though. Also, I feel like with the whole things that I've been going through, I think video games have been playing a part into that. So I do notice like video games can definitely take some dopamine away and make things make harder things a lot harder. You know, it's hard. Those are some good reps. Felt that exactly where I wanted to. Especially, I do notice on a deficit, I tend to try to control the weight a lot more. You know, like not as many ego reps. Really, just like focusing on like, all right, where am I really using the muscle? So, upper pecs. Whew. All right. And that's crazy though. Strength has definitely gone down already, and I haven't even really gone into crazy deficit yet either. Just having that, extra amp. I was running on a lot of stress too. Whenever I was doing my list before, because like I said, caffeine can increase cortisol. I was running on a lot of stress, so that's why I was able to do so much crazy weight. But we got that stress as much. You gotta do what you can do. But 100% is good. So another one of those. All right, before I lose circulation in my hands, I'm doing another set of this. Get these straps on tight. Also, the anxiety thing kind of comes down to like you got to get out of your comfort zone more. And the thing with like doing like clean bulks and clean cuts is that you're not really getting out of your comfort zone. Because if you're doing it cleanly, to where you're not like tanking your calories and you're not like just bulking your fucking calories up. If you're doing it cleanly, like between like half a pound to 1 pound of weight gain per week, you're not going to be that uncomfortable. You're not really getting out of your comfort zone. So it's like you can kind of like fall flat, Whereas like whenever I think about cutting my calories more, so like whenever I think about really cutting my calories and like start seeing weight and results faster, I feel a little less anxious because my body wants to see those results faster, and I'm also getting out of my comfort zone more by being a little bit more hungry. So it's like you gotta I kind of need to get out of my comfort zone in a different way. That way I don't have to rely on getting out of my comfort zone with the gym to fucking so I don't end up like tanking my calories and losing too much muscle. Because I want to do it legit because I want to maintain as much muscle as possible and not lose a lot like I did last cut. The last cut I lost a lot of muscle. I don't want to do that this time. I want to maintain as much muscle as possible. Fuck. God damn, that dumbbell will not sit in my hand right. Because last time, I think my arms definitely shrunk last bulk. Because at the end of it, I was like not being very disciplined at times, so I was like having a lot of binges, and so I was like getting pissed at myself, and then so I would fucking try to tank my calories even more to make up for it. Because like I feel like I felt like I had to have everything. Well, I needed to lose this amount of weight in this amount of time, or else. Whereas if you just take your time and be patient, you'll still get to the same weight that you want to get to. It just may take a little bit longer. But then that until adds on to my anxiety a little bit, because my body's like, oh, I want the results now. But you know, it's because of the stress too. It's like your body wants the results now because you're stressed to certain things. Like the quicker I get my results, the quicker I can become monetized and sponsored, and then stop worrying about as much money. So kind of like all, like I said, they all play into each other until it builds up to a certain point. So you gotta have like breaking points sometimes. I just wish I was more aware when they were gonna happen, so I didn't fucking let it overwhelm me. Let's find another back exercise. All right. So I don't burn out for trying this day one. I did a full upper body last week. I'm gonna do 3 sets, 3 push-up sets. I'm still doing warm-ups, so warm-up sets do count, even though it's not like crazy mechanical tension. It still counts. So I'm doing 3 working sets of push, so 2 chest, 1 shoulder, and then I'm doing 3 sets of pull, so 2 of the row sets, and I'm gonna do 1 set of these pull downs, and then we're gonna do. Well, I guess I gotta do a pushing set after this. So one shoulder set after this, and then do 2 sets of side lateral raises. I'm gonna do the one where I kind of do like the rear delt as well. That way I get some more rear delt into it. That way I can hit it still. And then do pick a really good bicep exercise and a really good tricep exercise that I really enjoy, and then do 2 hard sets on those, and that'll be the workout. And I think cable curls. I'm really liking cable curls for my bicep. And if you really like when you're at the bottom, if you let your arm extend a little bit more, you can kind of still get that stretch in there. But then the contraction, like way up here, is just like So. 3 pushing, 3 pulling, 2 shoulder. Which I mean, 3 pushing counts as a shoulder, but you know what I mean. Like side lateral raises, and then 2 bicep, 2 tricep. I think it's a pretty good combination. And I did a different leg workout yesterday than I would normally do. I did like 1 of every exercise that I did, 1 really good working set of every exercise, and I wasn't fatigued, and it felt really good. So I may end up liking upper lower a lot more if I can get the non-exhaustion out of it, and I can get non-exhausted from doing these. All right, 1 really good set of this. Let's make it count. Oh yeah, that's good. I'm counting that. Well, obviously I'm gonna count it. Ooh, lots of Terry's Major in there. So I think I'm gonna do this for. So I'm gonna have different reasons for different upper workouts. And this one, which is gonna be the second half of the week, which would be Friday's workout. When I start next week, it's Saturday today, but it'll be Friday's workout next week. Is do more this is gonna be more like upper back focused. So with those rows, it's like upper trap, mid trap, and rear delt, and then Terry's Major. Whereas the first upper set is gonna be lower back focused. So I'm gonna do a nice cable row, get a lower lat, and still obviously Terry's Major a little bit, but more lower, and then do a row that's more mid trap, lower back. So one's gonna be upper back, one's gonna be lower back focused. They're still hitting the whole back, but it's the mental part of it, the mind muscle connection, and that's kind of gonna work. But I'm looking forward to it, actually. Something new. All right. Side lateral raises. That's some like weird delt activation. Damn, I don't know what I just did on my warm up, but just a 20-pound dumbbell. I like really fit it in my side delt like a really good amount. Damn. Maybe I should just go lighter. They always say, oh, don't go lighter, you gotta go heavier, even on the cut. You need to train muscle. I'm not on steroids, so that I can do the same amount of weight. Okay, like 9 something. Alright, I'm gonna go a little bit lighter than next set. I don't want to feel that. I want to feel like how I did with that 20-pound dumbbell. Three, 4, 5, 10. My right side delt is a little stronger apparently. Hasn't been the case for like the past little bit. My right delt just felt really good. Mine was a connection with my right delt. The right side lateral side delt. Way stronger. They're not the same on the left one though. They're just the angles I'm hitting them at is different. We'll see in the next one. I'm back in black. Alright, let's see if I can get the same on the left delt. All over. I felt a little bit more that time. Oops, just kicked over my water bottle. Oh, fuck. A little bit less on that one, but felt it more. Oh, fuck. Alright, I think now we're gonna do shoulder press. Dumbbell shoulder press. I might speed this back a little bit more. You know, some people might ask me, like, do you act differently on and off the camera? Like when the camera's on or off, whatever. I don't think I do. I just, when I'm on camera, I definitely have a lot more energy because I have to, like, you know, I have to talk. Unless you hear me talk like this, which I mean, I'm not like that, but you know, when I talk in the camera, I have a little bit more energy because I have to actually use energy to talk. So it's like I give myself just a slightly bit more energy, and it actually makes me slightly feel a little bit better. It feels like I'm talking to someone. And, you know, whenever you have like a friend that you talk to, whatever, you know, talking to them can make you feel better. So it kind of feels like that. So you guys are my friend that I'm talking to while I'm working out. Because most of the time, you know, every time, I don't think I've ever had a workout where I worked out with somebody. So having somebody to talk to, even if can't talk back, it gives a little more energy. So I might start filming more long form videos. That way, you know, I can kind of like be able to talk through some of my problems. Maybe it can be a little therapy session for me. Even though you guys can't really, I mean, you could talk afterwards. You can comment afterwards as the video's going, but you know, it just gives me a little bit more energy. So I might do 2 a week. We'll see. I'll probably do a little bit less long or short form. But also the thing with long form is that it takes a while for my phone to edit through all this and then upload it. So it can get a little bit tedious sometimes. That's why I want to make it full time. That way I don't have to worry about being tedious or like taking time out of other things. This would be just what I do. I mean, it is what I do, but I want it to be more of what I do. I want to do some collabs too. Get with other fitness creators and then fucking just have crazy workouts. Go to the beach, do some like fucking Z's, David Lade, fucking aesthetics videos at the beach. But I'm nowhere near a beach. Midwest. It's like Kansas City, as middle of the country as it gets. Farthest point away from the beach. One. I mean, I do have a lake nearby, and I can have a beach. But, since pools aren't really open, you can't really go to a pool and do some fucking composers. I mean, you can go stand by a pool, but maybe it's the point if you can't actually get in the pool. But now on to our arm exercises. I figured something out just now with these tricep extensions on cable. Is that if I like put my pressure, whenever I'm like curling, because I go like this single arm and then just like push down like that. So extension push down, If I just use these like right here, just these 2 points of my fingers, the pointer finger and the middle finger, and I kind of like lift these fingers up so they're not using it, I can really like push down with these 2 points right here and get an extension and get like the whole tricep. Whereas if I try to just like basic extension, it's like a lot of like long head. I really want to get my short head to pop out because that's the one that you see from the side. You really see the short head on the side. I'm gonna try my best to just get as much short head as possible. That's nice. I like a good tricep. That was one of the things I really wanted to build in this past bulk. My triceps. So I think I did a pretty good job. I could have probably done a little bit better, but that's for the next time I bulk. But no more dirty bulks. Just, well, should I say that? But I need to get out of my comfort zone. So it's like, how do I get out of my comfort zone but have a clean bulk? There's gotta be a different way I can get out of my comfort zone and still do a clean bulk. So it's like I have to get out of my comfort zone in other areas if I want to do that. Which, I mean, peptides and all that'd be out of my comfort zone. Which is as far as I would go. I wouldn't take steroids because I don't want to mess with my hormones. Whereas if you take peptides, you can increase GH, growth hormone, without fucking your testosterone and your fucking balls up. That's the only reason I wouldn't take steroids is because I don't want to fuck my balls up. Ten seems to be the going number for this. We'll do one more of those. Feels good. Alright, since I don't know how much storage I really have left with this thing. I didn't film the second set of extensions. I did do them though. Don't think I didn't. So we're gonna do I'm gonna do 2 sets of these, but film 1 set. and then go from there. The reason I like these a lot is because it really push them against your body, so you can really just really explode the bicep. Woo! Fuck. That is why I like these. Holy shit. So just like nice that just that right there. Constant tension because it's not like a dumbbell curl where you get to the bottom and kind of just hangs. You really like, change your angles with the cable. I'll make sure I do that the same way on both sides so I don't forget. Get a muscle imbalance. I don't remember exactly what I did for that. We're gonna call it an 8 for both sides. Ooh, fuck. Yeah, pump was almost a little too much. Holy fuck. Might be all I need for that. I think I hurt my pec a little bit doing the cable curls. So I kind of like pull it in, like squeeze tight. They got mad a little bit. Shit, my biceps feel fucking cooked just from that. I might only need that one set, man. Yeah, I'm gonna call it after that. That was good. Fuck yeah. Alright. Final thoughts next. I don't know what I did differently, but my god, my fucking my left bicep is fucking way more pumped than the left, just from those one set. So I don't want to really exhaust myself. Like I said, I want to kind of like work my way into it, since it is something a little bit different and new. Because, with how I was training at the end of the bulk, a lot of effort, no results. Kind of like your body wants to kind of conserve energy. That's kind of what it does. So it's like if it's not getting a result that it needs, which is progress basically, it kind of pulls back a little bit. So what you want to do is also pull back a little bit until, your effort, your results, or like just a good feeling you get from it matches the effort you're putting out. So, if you're in a point, because I think this happened to me before. If you know my story, like in 2021, I had fucking, like, because I've never really had panic attacks before, and then I had them, and it was so intense, like 130 heart rate, mind racing at 1,000 miles an hour. I had never experienced one of those before in my life, and then that's kind of what spiraled me into, where I am today, and it's like still here with me 5 years later, and it was like back then, because I hadn't looked into any, basically what I was doing, I hadn't looked into any, like how fucking, anxiety can like take over your mind and shit. I hadn't looked into any of that. So, now I can understand it a little bit better. I still, it's still there, but when it first happened, I had no idea. And it could have probably been because, like, results weren't happening with social media, and I was still kind of like putting some pressure on that too. I wasn't working at the time either, so it was kind of like, money problems also. Not for me, like I still had my family, but it was just me. I wasn't really working at the time because I was like, oh, I'm just going to do social media and it's going to happen so fast, it's not going to have to worry about it. It obviously didn't happen fast. But when it first had the anxiety, because I'd been going for months, and I was doing my whole American Baki. If you're an OG from this channel, I don't know how many of you there are, but if you're an OG, I was doing all the American Baki stuff. I had those panic attacks then, and I had still gone to the gym a little bit afterwards, but then I ended up being like where I just didn't feel like going. I didn't feel like going to the gym. And so I had stopped going for like 8 months. I quit when did I quit exactly? I don't know. I was definitely tapering off of the gym, and then I quit for like 8 months, and I became like a runner. I was training for like half marathon to get a specific time. And, yeah, but my anxiety went down a lot after that, focusing on running. Kind of gave me like a little like goal to focus on too. And anxiety kind of went away. And then once I had done that, October 2022, I'm kind of going to a long story, but October 2022, I got back into lifting, and, you know, I started off as the NFL goal, but I kind of fell off of the NFL goal, just different reasons. But I always wondered, like, I wanted to know exactly what happened when I got that anxiety. I'm gonna roll the windows down, it's hot as fuck out here. And I wanted to know why I got that anxiety in the first place, all those years ago. And, you know, now I can look back on it and kind of be like, it's kind of a mix of things. Probably like progress was slow. You know, the gap between where I wanted to be and where I was a lot bigger than I thought. You know, probably a little bit of dopamine thing. You know, if you're constantly on dopamine and your like baseline dopamine is super low, you're going to be a lot more anxious. You're going to be a lot more like, you know, just, you know, anhedonia, not really want to do shit. And I think that's kind of what happened back then. The only way to figure that out is to, you know, because when you're running on such a high in stress and everything, you know, either smoking weed or caffeine like I was doing, and then you come off of that, basically like withdrawals. You know, if you're running high on cortisol and then you go low on cortisol, it's basically like having withdrawals. And when you have withdrawals, you're going to be a little depressed. You're not going to want to do much because you're not getting that same stimulus as before. You just got to be careful with your mind. You know, your mind is like one of the most important things. It's not always your best friend, but it is one of the most important things if you can like get it under control and make sure you like, you know, are disciplined in every area of your life. So stay disciplined with everything, not just like, oh, I go to the gym, with everything. And good things can happen. I just have to reteach myself that time, like effort over time is better than short-term shit, because I was trying to go for short-term. So when you don't get short-term results, it can kind of fuck with you, even though the long-term is what you need. So, but I'm gonna have to get this video. I gotta get home so I can edit this video, because I'm filming it on the day I'm gonna post it, and editing takes forever. Well, not editing, but uploading takes forever. So let's get it. Peace.